Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. Who's ready for some fighting words? In this video, I want to talk about Ryan Garcia and his promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy Promotions. They're giving out ultimatums now. Really quick, if you like the videos, please take the time to subscribe to the channel right now if you have not done so already. If you have, great, and thank you for the support. Also, if you could, please circulate the videos, tell a friend, tell a friend, and tell a friend. And also, if you could, take this moment right now to hit that thumbs up button. It really does help and support the channel. Now, back to this video. So they're basically giving Tank an ultimatum. Hey, by Monday, if we don't hear anything, it's a done deal. We're going to move on. All right, so here's my thoughts on that. Let's start with this. Ryan, you are not the A side. I hate using that term. I really do hate using that term. Another term coined by Floyd Mayweather. I hate using the term A side, B side. But the reality is this is boxing, and it is all about popularity and who can promote the most, or who can generate the most amount of wealth, money, revenue. And listen, when it comes to Tank, you two don't match up on paper in terms of generating money. Tank is the A side, and we got to call a spade a spade. He's the A side, in which case he's calling the shots, in which case he'd more likely be drawing those contracts out. It wouldn't be Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy. If they're serious about a fight, they wouldn't be pushing the issue so hard. Tank has already verbally said that he wanted to fight Ryan Garcia already. Also, after his fight with Hector Garcia, he has not been shy about this. He's been very vocal about who's next on the list. He's also been very vocal, saying that he doesn't have a whole lot longer fighting in the ring in general. So Ryan Garcia would more than likely be on that list. Devin Haney is going to be on that list. Shakur Stevenson's going to be on that list. Probably, I don't know for sure, certain Teofimo Lopez will be on that list. I am pretty certain that, that would also include Vasyl Lomachenko. But Ryan Garcia is definitely going to be on that list. And I think Ryan Garcia versus Tank generates the most amount of money out of all those guys. Secondly, maybe Lomachenko, but it's definitely Ryan Garcia. If you want to make the best bang per buck, you're going to fight Ryan Garcia. And he has not been shy about that. He has not been quiet about that, who he wants next. So I really don't understand why they're forcing the issue so much. Maybe, it's been said maybe they don't really want the fight, in which case I don't really think that. I think Ryan Garcia definitely wants to fight. So it wouldn't make sense if they didn't want to fight. They would not be pressing it as hard as they're pressing. Ryan Garcia jumping on all types of platforms, basically calling, Tank scared and calling him names and all these things. So I think he definitely wants to fight. That's the way somebody talks when they want to fight. So I think he definitely wants to fight. I don't think it's an issue of either guy being afraid. I think it is an issue of, nonetheless, maybe a promotion saying, don't damage our goods. We got a great thing going over here, and that's both sides. Ryan Garcia, because Oscar De La Hoya has been on the record saying Ryan Garcia is not ready for Gervonta Tank Davis. He's been on the record saying that, and that wasn't long ago. And I don't understand why he would feel so differently now, other than the fact that Ryan Garcia forced his hand. Ryan Garcia even threatened to leave Golden Boy. If I don't get the fight that I want, I'm out of here. And you really can't afford to lose your biggest attraction. You've already lost Canelo. You ain't getting that back. So you better hold on to what you have, and you better treat what you have accordingly. And that is getting him the fight that he wants, even if it isn't the safest for him or maybe the best for him at this time. Still, what he wants, give it to him. If I were Oscar, I would have probably tried to work a little harder to get him maybe like a Devin Haney fight, somebody who's more beatable. I would work on that. I would work on maybe a Teofimo Lopez fight. I would have worked on a Teofimo Lopez fight. That's definitely Ryan can win that fight. I truly believe Ryan Garcia could beat Teofimo Lopez. And I'm talking prior to the loss with George Kambosos. I think Ryan Garcia could always smoke Teofimo Lopez. So I don't really know, what the angle is, and I'm just curious. And I honestly, I would love to be around Tank's camp, or I would love to be in contact with Tank in his camp, and say, why don't we reach out on Wednesday? What's going to happen on Monday? Is he really going to pull this contract on Monday? I seriously doubt it. If he's serious and Ryan Garcia claims he wants it as bad as he does, I seriously doubt this contract is going to get pulled back on Monday and they're moving on to someone else. Who are you going to fight? Who are you going to fight? He's lined up. Shakur's lined up, but nobody in their right mind will put those two together, so I don't even have to say he's lined up. Who are you going to fight? Who are you fighting? You know, it's not as if you're going to take on the people at 140. You darn sure ain't going at Regis Prograis. Who are you fighting? So what are you pressing for? That's a question. Now, on the other side, you know, I'm curious because the reality is I want to know who's making up these contracts. Like, yeah, all right, you made up the contract, but are they just going to look it over? If they are the A side, I'm assuming they would make up their own contract and send it to you. You're the B. We're the A. We make them up. You sign them. It's simple as that. You know, and I'm interested to see what happens with this contract. I don't think anything happens dramatically on Monday. I don't think it's like, whoa, we're out of here. I don't think that happens. I really don't think that happens. There's a reason why Tank's side has been silent. They'll move when they want to, not necessarily when they have to, because I don't think they have to. I think Gervonta Tank Davis can fight this fighting word sign and get a ton of people to support and watch the fight. So I don't think he needs to be on his high horse and be like, oh, I got to get this done right now. I don't feel like he needs to do that. And I feel like he can generate money regardless of where he goes or regardless of who he fights, to be quite frank. And there's still a slew of guys that he could fight. So if they were to pull the rug from under him on Monday, trust me, there's a ton of guys lining up to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. I think there are guys lined up. I think there are guys who are already signed up for another fight that would drop that fight like a hot potato to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. So that's really not a strong bluff. And I don't think that's a bluff that you can pull off, to be quite frank. And after going this hard for the fight with Gervonta Tank Davis, if you were to back out now, I don't think the backlash would go on Gervonta Tank Davis. I honestly think the backlash would go on Golden Boy, you know, to be quite frank, because I feel like that's another thing. It's like, let's just say that Oscar De La Hoya doesn't truly believe that Tank wants to fight Ryan Garcia. All right, fine, that's cool. But if we've already made out the contracts and we send them to you, now the general public, you and myself, can say, well, these guys are clearly serious because they've already sent out the contracts. He's been very vocal. They've both been very vocal, and they've done everything humanly possible in on their end to make this a reality. So if nothing comes from this, we clearly have to look at you guys. And at this moment, we're kind of modeling the Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence all over again. This has the makings of Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. This has the makings. That's why I'm not overly excited. Honestly, it's getting to the point where until I see these guys in the ring, until I see these guys fight, I'll believe it when I see it. I think this is a dangerous fight for both guys. And I've always said it's mainly dependent on the weight. 135, I think it's 60-40. I think it's Tank. 140, I think it's a 50-50 fight. Ryan's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's tall, still got the power. Yeah, it's a 50-50 fight at 140. So that's what makes it dangerous. But again, honestly, if Tank is the A side, he could be like, no, we'll do it at 130. I seriously doubt that because I don't believe he can make that weight. But I'm just saying, just if nothing else, maybe to spite Ryan Garcia. I don't know. But you're not the A side. You're not the A side. And I think there's another underlining tone to this fight. Well, we tried, you know, maybe in the back room it's like, yo, we really didn't want that fight, did we? You know, we didn't really want that fight. We just needed the public to believe that we wanted to fight so that when we fight this guy over here and he's, I don't know, softer than cotton candy, and we knock him out in the first round, they won't say, well, you were supposed to fight Tank. Well, we tried to fight Tank. You seen, we drew out the contracts. We tried to fight Tank. He just didn't want to do it. He was afraid. It was him and his team. His team didn't have belief in him. You see, my team, Oscar De La Hoya, he had belief in me. He drew out the contract. He took pictures with me, with us holding the contracts together. Clearly, he believes in me. It could be that. It could be that. I let's put it like this. I'm waiting on Monday. I'm just as intrigued about Monday as Oscar De La Hoya and Ryan Garcia, to be quite frank. I want to see what happens on Monday. I want to see if the contracts are signed on Monday, because this definitely has the makings of Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence, or Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. This has the makings of that, and that's not a good sign. We've already got this kind of thing brewing in other divisions. We don't need it brewing at this division, in the smaller divisions as well. And it's looking like we're going down this path where nobody wants to fight each other. In every weight class, we're going to keep having this stagnant thing going on where guys are good, but we don't know how good. Why? Because they won't fight each other. So we don't know how good they are. We have no clue how good they are. We can only assume that they're really good because they do really cool things when they're beating, number 8. So we don't really know how good they are, or they could continue to have these fights where there's absolutely no danger, no risk at all. And they're without vulnerability. There's just no danger at all. What are the odds that he might knock him out? Slim next to none. What are the odds that he might best him and outbox him? Slim next to none. What are the odds he's going to make it to the end, 12th round? Slim next to none. We could just have a bunch of those, because lately we've been having a bunch of those. And it's looking like, if this fight doesn't get made, we could have another one of those. Listen, I love Tank, and I like watching him fight. I like seeing his technique, but I don't want to see him fight another bum. I don't want to see him fight another guy that I know well in advance he's going to beat. Same thing for Ryan Garcia. I don't want to see him fight somebody I know in the press conference he's going to beat him. I don't need to wait for the weigh-in and see how they look. If somebody's overweight or he looks drained, he looks overtrained, I don't need to see all that. 9 times out of 10 in the sport of boxing, probably 8 times out of 10, you know who's going to win well in advance. Outside of the women fighting, you know who's going to win well in advance. You just know. And it's just like, I give him a puncher's chance. I'm tired of giving puncher's chances. I want 2 guys in their prime, fighting, where I don't know what the outcome will be, because both of them are pretty much even. Both of them have nice, good records. I want them even. I don't just want you even on paper. Not just even on paper. I want you even in skill. I want you even in power. I want you even. That's why I commend Caleb Plant and David Benavidez. I mean, granted, Plant's already lost, so technically that should be like a Charlo or Andrade in there with him. But I still commend him for taking the fight, because Caleb Plant's not a walk in the park. And when he got back in the ring, he got back in the ring. I want to see some guys who are serious about fighting. I want to see some guys who are seriously willing to put it all on the line. And the reality is, we are not witnessing any of these dudes who seem to be willing to put it all on the line. So hopefully this fight gets made, but I'm curious to know what happens on Monday. That's pretty much it for me. As always, please like, please share, please subscribe to this channel.